What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rick Scale RC. Thanks for joining me. I hope everybody's having a great day today. First and foremost, happy holidays, happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good Christmas, good New Year's, and I wish you all the best in 2019. So, with that being said, part 7 of the Brute build. What do you guys think? It's got the rear fender flares on it. I finished the details in the tailgate. We got hinges on it. Even did some bolt heads on the hinges. Got the body line in the tailgate. Got the taillight housings made and mounted. Again, the fender flares and the bed is mounted. Originally I had talked about dropping some brackets down off of the bottom of it and mounting into the side of the frame rails. And I just thought, keep it simple, stupid. Why go through all that when real trucks mount bolts straight down through the tailgate? So that's what I did. I used the existing cross member that's in the back between the frame rails of the SCX-10s, and they already had holes in it, and I just used those holes, put 2 screws in it, and I called it done. I have pulled the trigger on a battery. Up until a week ago, I wasn't sure what battery I was going to be running in this. All I had were my, like 6-inch long stick packs, and it probably messed me up through the build, because if I would have had this battery, I could have been planning on where I was going to put it the whole time and configured it somewhere, but I didn't. All I had was the big stick packs, and I just kept putting it off and putting it off. Oh, I'll find a place for the battery later. I'll find a place for the battery later. Well, now it's later, and the place I found for it is, nothing new, but I'm going to build a box for it in the back and just put it in the back. Originally, my plan was to mount it behind the front seats. After doing the floors and then mounting the seats and getting my guy to sit in there right, it didn't leave me with a lot of space behind the seats. And then I went and did the roll cage, and it really just eliminated any chance of putting a battery behind the seats. Then I had an idea of maybe doing a false floor underneath the passenger side seat and mounting the battery underneath the seat. You kind of lift the seat out, maybe put it in there with magnets or Velcro, pull the seat, change the battery, put the seat back in. You'd never know it was there. But again, I didn't have a battery to work with, and I just put it off and put it off, and that didn't end up happening. And now, after having the battery, that wouldn't have happened anyway. The battery just wouldn't have fit under there. I would have had to chop a lot out of the bottom of the seat to make it work, and I don't think I would have wanted to do that. I'm also kind of anal when it comes to building these things and keeping them balanced. I don't like to have to throw a lot of preload on a shock to make up for one side being heavier than the other. It just makes it unpredictable when it's on the rocks. I like to keep all 4 corners pretty much adjusted the same. I might put a little bit more in the back passenger side to make up for torque twist, but other than that, I try to keep all 4 adjusted the same, and which is pretty much no adjustment. I like it sitting pretty much at full droop. I don't put any preload on any of my shocks. I'd rather it lift up than down. Right now there's no weight, so this goes down, but the front only goes down about 1/4 of an inch, but it'll come up, a good inch. So that's usually how I like to keep them. I think also when filming them, they react and look more natural, more like a 1-to-1. So, getting a little carried away there. But anyway, because of that, I would have never, I wouldn't have wanted to put a battery on one side. It would have made it unbalanced, and that, it would have kept me up at night. So, we're going to put it in the back of the bed, right in the middle, nice and center, nice and balanced, build a toolbox around it, and we'll call it done. And then, the only thing I'm waiting to paint it is I want to build the rock sliders for it still, and I got to get the front bumper mounted, And then I do have a rear bumper coming for it. I was going to build the back bumper, but after seeing something else, I thought that looks really nice. One. Number two, that looks really close to what I was going to try and build for mine. And number three, the guy who's building it is really talented, and the stuff he's building is just incredible. So I'm looking forward to getting it, and once I get it, I will for sure fill you guys in on everything. And then another thing you guys probably saw in the intro is I got the interior painted up. I chose to do the interior a tan. The Extra Speed Jeep's got like a dark gray interior, and when you look in the window, it just looks dark. You really can't tell any of the details. So on my blue Toyota, I did a tan I did a tan interior on that, and when you look inside, it's nice and bright. You can see the details. It looks good. So after going through all the effort on this build, I chose to do a tan interior because I wanted people to see the details when you look inside of it. One thing I did change is, I cut the transfer case shifter out of it. We put a twin stick Atlas transfer case inside. Got the details all finished and filled in on the radio. All the buttons are painted, numbers. Got the heater controls filled in, steering wheel. As you notice, the gauge cluster right now is just blacked out. That's just step one in my master plan. I kind of have an idea of something I want to do for that, so that's not 100% just yet. Another thing you may have noticed in the intro is the last Jeep build got keys in the ignition. So I was sitting here staring at it, trying to come up with ideas of some other little small detail I could add to the interior to really bring it to life. I happened to be talking to Voodoo at the time, and we came up with the idea of scale change in the compartment of the center console. So after doing some math and figured out what 10th scale quarters, nickels, and dimes would be, and pennies, I cut up some change, which is pretty much spot on the scale. That's what 10th scale change would look like. Like I said, we did the math and it's right. So also I used the drill lathe, made a custom handle for it, a custom shifter handle for the shifter. That was one of the things that was broken off of the original interior, was the shifter and the knob. So I had to make a new shifter and a knob, obviously. And like I said, I chose to do a twin stick Atlas transfer case in this. So that's what the two transfer case shifters are. That's what you're looking at there. And then roll cage is just out now, getting prepped for paint. That'll be going back in as well. The other thing you guys probably noticed in the intro was got the wheel wells painted black. At this point now, the chassis is 100%. It's ready to go. I redid the skid plate. I made the first one. I learned a lot with the first one, but again, it was my first one. So I just wasn't happy with it. Looks or function underneath, it kind of looked funky to me, and I just wasn't happy with it. So went ahead and redid that, made another one, and I'm real happy with that one. Even beefed this one up. This one's a lot stronger than the last one. It's 1/4 inch plate inside each channel of the frame, and then it's bridged with this heavy gauge sheet metal, which is also doubled up. So it's really strong. It's, no flex, no bend, no nothing out of that. It's beefy. And then the servo mount, got that painted and good to go. Also got all the wires are painted black, tucked away, zip tied, nice and neat. Also blotched some black paint on the motor too, just to hide the label. And then, probably bad lighting now, but I'm sure you guys probably seen in the intro, we got some SSD axle housings under it now. Christmas present from the wife. She is awesome. She always does good on holidays. She knows what I like. So I was real happy, very excited about that. So yeah, so with that being said, like I said, the chassis is 100% ready to go. Just got to get this painting completed and finish assembly. As far as the front bumper, rather than fab up my own bumper, I'm going to start with this bumper. It's just a cheap, I think it's a Yeah Racing bumper, just a Stinger bumper with a winch mount on it. I want it tucked up against the body as tight as possible, sitting nice and level, and with the existing mounts in the existing holes, I just can't get what I'm looking for. And by the time I get it all the way back up against the body, inside, you know, the mounts are up against like the shock holes, so it's just no good. The mount's got to go. I did move the body back on the chassis just for a more scale appearance. I also wanted to get the center of the axle, you know, under the center of the wheel well. So that's just where it ended up. So I'm going to have to do what I got to do to make this bumper look right on there. And that's just going to have to be make custom mounts for it. It's, you know, not too big of a deal. But that's what I got to do there. And then, like I said, we still got to make the rockers. I haven't started anything with the rockers yet. So, but it's coming along. I hope you guys enjoyed the update. Thanks to all the new subscribers, man. I really appreciate it. And I really like all the comments, man. You guys show the Brood a lot of love, and I appreciate it. From the Toyota, building these rigs has come a long way, and I'm really enjoying myself. I'm having a lot of fun building this, and I gotta tell you, I'm really proud of that bed, and I can't wait to start the next one. But that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.